in the wild. How you doing? So the week that just passed, well, it seems to be quite interesting. I'm excited to see some, supply and demand setting the prices on our markets, and could be that the end of this year is going to be quite interesting. Funny observation is walking about, watching people that are pro-Palestine, which is awesome. But the thing you kind of already know when you see pro-Palestine, like just screaming instead of thinking, right? Because logic for caged chickens is that if you start screaming pro-Palestine to people that are shopping, right? Well, are they more inclined or less inclined to support like Palestine and be anti-Israel? If you're screaming that shit in their faces, right? Well, by logic, they will be less inclined, right? So it's like counterintuitive going about it this way. Instead of explaining, hey, did you know Israel is bribing a lot of politicians in America via AIPAC and therefore doing this war machine things? The, what's it called? Industrial complex, right? So by that, it's counterproductive and basically retarded, right? But also by looking at them, like if you have blue hair and pronouns and, well, you're likely not going to be the most intelligent being, right? So you're easily influenced by mass propaganda, which is funny because they are kind of like, think they are anarchist or something, like anti blah, blah, blah. But still they are just tagging along with the propaganda, right? They have like no thought of their own. They're just tagging along to whatever is trending, which is right now, blue-haired and pronouns. And doing this kind of shit. And then they're sort of like anarchists, right? So they want less government control, right? But then they want more taxation to the rich because blah, blah, blah. They hate people with competence, right? Because they have none. And I do agree with, some people having, an anarchist kind of vibe. Like about, especially if their wealth is because of policies. Like Bill Gates with the Bovaer chemicals and how he want to, get his wealth by actually influence politicians, right? Well, with that kind of logic, well, I kind of support it, right? But if you have a guy like Elon Musk that builds his wealth because he's competent and he can like build shit, well, more power to him, right? But I guess most people don't get that connection and that kind of thought, right? Because they don't like people that are competent, right? Yeah. That's one observation. And yeah. So by observing these kind of, blue-haired phenomenons, the hash pronouns, because they can be a lovely individual by having a blue hair or nose ring, doesn't matter. But when you start to stack up, like, all right, they got the pronouns going for them, right? So when they start to follow all the trends of indoctrination, well, then there starts a kind of pattern forming, right? All right. Yep. Observation.